SmartSuite dashboards are really changing the game in how we share access to our no-code solutions. In this video, I want to highlight for you how SmartSuite dashboards will inherit permissions from the different users that you've added into your organization's workspace, more specifically into your solution. So if unpacking the SmartSuite workspace permissions is of interest to you, stick around and let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Gareth and this is Gap Consulting. It's our mission to help you unlock the full potential of no-code tools. And in this video, we're going to be showing off some SmartSuite dashboards and more importantly, looking at how different users experience those dashboards. What did the different users see? That's exactly what we're going to be unpacking here. So before we get into it, I first want to invite you to join me for some free automation training. No code building is all about creating streamlined processes and organizing and automating your work. I've put together a free training at gapconsulting.io/webinar-registration to teach you the fundamental building blocks of no-code automation. Go ahead and sign up for free there. But without further ado, let's hop on into my screen. I'm going to be starting with a template for service orders. Now, if you're already a SmartSuite user, I encourage you to follow along with me and go through the same steps I'm performing here. If you don't already have SmartSuite, of course, sign up using our affiliate link. It's a great way for you to show some love back to the channel. Once you're signed in, you'll see something that looks pretty similar to this. And if we click on Template Gallery right here, that is where I just was. I'm going to look for the word order here. Service orders is the name of this template. And all I have to do is say use template. Now that's going to install it directly into my workspace. And you can see here that I've got service orders, the name of the solution, with 3 tables. I've got jobs, I have services, and I have team. Now we're going to put together a dashboard and we want to assume that we don't want people looking at everything. We want them to see only their dashboard information. So there are a couple of different ways that we can slice this. One way is to create a brand new table from scratch called dashboards. We can do this pretty simply. And when we share access with people to this solution, we can limit what they see. We can take away their permissions to see jobs, services, and team, and then they will only see the high-level aggregated data on the dashboard. Now, on the other hand, if we want them to dive into the records, if we want them to see specific information inside of these other tables, then we still need to make sure that we have a way of giving them that level of access, which I will show you as we move along here. Now for us, I don't actually want to create this new dashboards here. I will delete this table, although this is a perfectly acceptable way to build your dashboards because dashboards can look at any table in your workspace. They can pull data from really anywhere in SmartSuite, making them so incredibly agile. So it's perfectly normal. We see many of our clients actually building a new table just to house dashboards for a particular solution. But in our example, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to instead just add a dashboard here to my jobs. Now, before I go adding new dashboards, first what I'm going to do, and I get this capability because I am an admin inside of this workspace, I'm going to hover down here over my different views, and I'm going to create folders. Folders are an amazing way to organize your views inside of a table in your solution. I'm going to select a folder and I'll call this first one internal folder. Maybe it's for management only, so I'll include MGMT here and I will move the existing stuff into there. So I'll just drag these other views into my folder and now they will be kind of partitioned inside of that. Now I want to create another folder. So I will hover over here again, create view, and this will be my dashboard folder. And I can set permissions inside of my folders, which you'll see right here by clicking on these 3 dots. I can then go to my folder settings and choose who will have access to this. So as I share access to this solution, I can also then say, well, certain people can see this folder and therefore the views inside of it, and other people cannot. This is how I recommend sharing your dashboards in a really easy way. Now, we'll come back to this in a moment. Now we have our 2 different folders here. I've got my dashboard. Let's add a view inside of here and actually create our first dashboard. And we can name it whatever we'd like, assign it to the folder where we want it to go, and then create this view. So we can start adding some fun information here. But what I want to do is, before we start adding too many widgets to our dashboard, I want to go back to these jobs and make sure that they're getting properly assigned to people in the team. A lot of the templates that SmartSuite is working with were set before they had dashboard capability. In order to really streamline the dashboard, one of the fields that you'll probably wind up using a lot to limit the amount of data people see is the assigned to field. Here's how we use it. We can create this new field here, assigned to, and you see that we can choose to assign people to this field. Now, we can go with one person at a time or multiple entries. This is going to be really helpful when we start adding people to our solution. We can give them permission to only see records that they've been assigned to. And therefore, they cannot go poking around all of the data. They can only see stuff that we've actually linked them to, actually connected their user account to by putting them as the assigned to person. So in this case, let's actually set up an assigned to field for someone else. I'm going to create a new account here and log in as a different user. So let's add our field for now, and we'll come back to adding the user once we give them permission to test this out. So I'm going to flip into my workspace right now. And inside of my workspace, I'll go to my workspace admin, and I can manage members here. And you can see that I have a fake account using a personal email address called Guest McGesterson. I've added them to our account, and it's using my personal email. If you ever choose to send an email to this email, it will get lost in 10,000 spam emails, so I strongly recommend not doing it. But what we can do is actually make sure that we give this person access to a particular group of people. In order to do this, let's click on this and go to View Profile here. And by scrolling on down inside here, we'll see the teams that they are associated with. Now, this is really, really helpful because we can create teams and share access with a team to a solution. And automatically, anyone in that team is going to get access. So let's say we had a team called Test Accounts. Test Accounts is an active new team that I'm adding, creating that team, and I'm going to assign my Guest McGesterson to this account. And so let's go ahead and update that workspace information. Oh, looks like I didn't quite save it right. Sorry. Back into assigned teams, find that test account. Here it is. Click it. And now we'll update the workspace information. All right. So now this account is properly associated here. Now, the reason that I really like using teams is because, again, when we onboard new people to our workspace, all we have to do is assign them to the proper team. And then whatever teams we've previously shared solution access with, that new account will immediately get the right level of access to all of the solutions that they should as a member of that particular team. So I'm going to go back to my workspace now and re-access my service orders. This was the template I just installed. Now it's time to share access with this. So I will click up here and go to permissions. Now, right now, the only person who can see this is me. I am the solution owner. I am the person who built this. I'm the only admin in our account. Therefore, only I can see it. But now I want to share access with others. So I can click on sharing access with teams. So here I want to add my test account. Boom. Everyone who is in that group now, once I save this, will have access to this solution. Before we close out, you can see that it says 2 members have access. That is exactly what I want. But also note that I could come down to advanced permissions and bring it in here. And I actually like this even more because if I bring in test accounts, the team, you'll see that I can control the type of access they get. And this is where I can get more granular. I don't want them to see everything. I only want them to see stuff that they've been assigned to. So when I bring them into this solution, I'm saying everyone on the test accounts team is going to be able to come in as an assignee, which means they can view and edit content that they have been assigned, but they cannot create, view, or edit any other content. So this way I can assign them to things, they can act on those particular records, and that's all they're going to see, even in their dashboards. So let's click on assignee. I'm going to add here. So I've added one account, this entire team, anyone who's on it, but it's a brand new team with just the one test account. All right, we've got now 2 people having access to the solution. 2 members have access. 1 is me as an admin and 1 is my test account. Now let's go ahead and build a dashboard. I'm going into my dashboard, and before I start building, I will set the permissions. So I'm going to go here, click on permissions for this folder, and who can see it? It's everyone in the team. And here's where I can access that team. Do you remember the name? Test accounts. Let's save it. Over here on our other dashboard, nobody can see this. This is going to be only for me, myself. So I will select myself as a member. So the admin, Gareth, will be able to see all the data, all the views, but the test team that we brought in, which is the guest account, they're only going to be able to see very limited stuff here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and save here and move on. We're going to add some widgets. You can imagine adding a lot of different things. We can add summary blocks. Let's bring this in. Let's just look at the jobs. So I'm looking at the jobs table and I can say, I just want to sum up by the job name and I'll do a count. We have 3 jobs in our jobs table. I can add that widget. Now I might choose that I want to limit the amount of jobs that people see only to the jobs they've been assigned. So instead I'll come into the summary card and I'll click edit and I will say here, apply a filter that the assigned to field is the current user. So let's say has any of, and I can select current user. And so by this, I have not assigned myself, the admin, to anything. So my number goes to 0. But for Guest McGesterson here, we can actually assign guest to a few of these and then be able to review it from their perspective. So let's go ahead and save changes here. Now, obviously, this makes a lot of sense if we're sharing this dashboard with users in particular. If we're instead creating dashboards that are for management or for admin, we're going to lock those down in different ways and, of course, hide those dashboards in our internal folder. But again, this is going to be for Guest McGesterson. And so in that way, when Guest McGesterson logs in, they're going to see only information that makes sense for them. Now we can also build a lot of different widgets as well. Let's do record picker here. I've got a record selector. We know that we've got 3 different types here, but Guest McGesterson, because they're an assignee, is only going to be able to look at records that they have access to. We don't even have to change the settings in this capacity, but we can drop this little widget in and pop it up here. Now, lastly, I'm going to add the record details here. So I'm going to bring this in and tie this to the record selector that we just created, meaning that when somebody selects one of those records, then we will be able to show them information within that record. We can add the field information here. So we can bring in contact info and go to field width on that. We can bring in, let's say, the billing email, to field width on that. We can add another field. So this is accessing all the different fields that we have inside of our table. We can choose whether we want to allow people to have edit access inside the dashboard or limit it to read only. And we can apply those changes. Again, that's going to impact our dashboard. And let's bring in the job name, pop this up at the top, scroll it up there. We'll add the widget. So there we go. We can select from this list. And because we're right now logged in as ourselves, as admin users, we have this higher level permission inside of SmartSuite. But here I am inside of my account as Guest McGesterson. You can see that because it's greeting me as guest in my upper right corner. It's showing me as Guest McGesterson. We can see this right here. I have this access, and what I need to do now is access service orders. Now you'll remember earlier I saw that there were 3 different tables with a lot of information, and I had data actually on my page. But now, because I'm in here as an assignee, I can click in these different places, but I'm seeing absolutely nothing. These jobs have not been assigned to me, so I see a summary card of 0, a record selector here, and record details here. Nothing actually showing up. I cannot find any information, and I can't even edit the dashboard, which is exactly what you want if you're sharing with people who should have limited access. So let's flip now back into our admin account to test this out further. Here I am back as Gareth the admin. I click on service orders and I can start assigning stuff. So let's go into our job summary view. Remember, we added the assigned to field. This is the linchpin of the whole thing. And let's assign some stuff to Guest McGesterson. Now for us, we're still in admin mode. What happens if I go to the dashboard here? Well, I can click in. I will be able to see all of the different jobs when it loads. So I see all 3 of the different jobs. The summary card, because I'm logged in and none are assigned to me, shows as 0. And of course, I can select anything here and get a breakdown of the information. So here I am back inside of my Guest McGesterson account. You can tell because in the upper right corner, we see that level of permission. That's my sign in over here. And what do they see as an assignee permission holder? Well, I see all the tables, but no information in any of them. When I go over to jobs, I only see the 1 folder of dashboard because that's all I've been given permission to see. My summary card shows 2, even though we know there are 3 records because only 2 are assigned to me. My record selector automatically inherits the same level permissions as my account. So I don't see all the other stuff. I just see the 2 jobs that I'm assigned to. And I can edit and take information in here as need be. Of course, these different fields are not set to accept that information. I don't have the proper level permissioning, but I could have that level, and I can certainly comment inside of these records by opening it up. I can comment right here. Note that I can lock this down if I don't want them to see this. I can actually set more advanced permissions that say, assignees can't see these different fields. But here we are. This is a full-blown interactive dashboard with inherited permissions top down based on the type of user permissions I have inside of SmartSuite. I know we went really quickly in this. Of course, there's a lot to cover. If there are questions you have that we did not get to, swing by our website and we will get those answers for you. Of course, if you got value from this, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, keep on building.